Okay, in the last video we talked about speed. In this one we're going to talk about accuracy. That's important. You want your chords to sound good. And it it takes a lot of adjustment to get a chord to sound right. So if you're playing like the G chord, for example, it's really easy to miss that. That's a real common mistake there. Listen to that. So how do I fix that? How do I get the, the chord to sound the way I want? Well, you have to manipulate your arm and your hand, and you want to have your fingers coming down as perpendicular to the strings as you can. And to do that, you have to bring your elbow in towards the neck of the guitar, and you have to work it and find that what I call the sweet spot for each note. So if you're playing, there's the G. That doesn't sound right. Okay, that sounds better. Now, how about the next note? And what happens a lot there is that my ring finger will be touching the fifth string, and it will deaden it. It sounds kind of like a thud. So I've got to get my finger up so it's out of the way. It's not interfering. And then I got to get this last one on there too. So you see how I adjust my hand and find that place like where I can get all the notes to ring out. That wasn't even very good that time. So you want to work on that. And the G is a hard one to play. It really is. A lot of people don't even play the fifth string because you really don't have to, especially if you're finger picking. And that's easier to play that way. But that's the proper, grip for that chord. Okay, same thing with a C. You want to hit the C right. And the problem with a C is you have a stretch here between your middle finger or your second finger, middle finger, and your index finger, and you got to get that stretch in there, and you want to try to get your fingers in the middle of the frets, and that's where they sound best. So you got that C. Okay, you want that to ring out. Okay, and then in the D is really hard because the D, look how close my fingers are together. So it's really easy to get this one on the D, so that sounds bad. And then that's not quite right because it's not down. So you have to, okay, there's a D, and a D is an open string in a D. That's that fourth string. But when you get to the third string, you got to find, and look at how my hand, my fingers are almost straight up. It's like the side of a cliff coming down there on the strings. And I'm not letting my fingers touch any string except the string they're supposed to touch. So, for example, if I did this, that's because my ring finger, you see, my ring finger is coming over and it's touching the first string and it's deadening it. So I have to figure out, and then I don't have to move a whole lot. Look at this, look how little I move. Not much. So the thing about accuracy is that you just have to feel it, and you have to practice, and you have to go from chord to chord to chord. And we talked about the speed, which is very important, but if you don't have the accuracy with it, it's not going to sound right. So you want to concentrate on getting each chord and figuring out where those fingers have to be and get them right. And so you're going to alternate between trying to get speed and trying to get accuracy, and hopefully, if you work at it, you'll have both. That's the end game here, to get both sounding right. So when you play a song, it sounds good. So it takes a lot of practice. It's frustrating as can be. It'd make you crazy. I'm learning a new chord right now. It's a C minor sixth, and you hear that right there? I'm having a hard time because I have to bar over that. So maybe if I do it this way, I'm still, because this finger here is interfering with the fourth string. So here we go. So you see how I had to move my elbow way in and get this over so I can play this chord, and I still don't do it right every time. So I'm working on it. So I show you that simply to tell you that everybody that plays the guitar, I don't care how good you are, when you're learning something new, you're learning something new, and you got to practice it over and over and over and over and over. I could go on forever. Again, so don't despair. Don't get discouraged. Work on the speed and then work on the accuracy. Work on both and try to get those chords to sound good. And eventually it will come. It's going to take a while, and you're going to have to play these chords thousands of times. I mean, literally thousands of times. I'm not kidding. Not a couple hundred times, a couple of thousand times, because it just takes that long to get that muscle memory and get your fingers automatically going in the right position and not interfering with the other strings. It's a real fine-tuning thing, and it takes time to do it. So be aware of that and be willing to put the time in and spend some time every day trying to get the speed and the accuracy going. And the next video I have, I'm just going to do Worried Man Blues all the way from start to finish, very slowly, and then that will give you something to practice with, and you can enjoy that and speed it up as you get better and better. But I'm going to do it very slowly to start, just so you have a song that you can play. And if you have another song that you like, fine, and use your metronome, set it at 40, set it at 50, set it wherever you want, and just practice it and get used to making the chord changes, and eventually you're going to sound good. I guarantee it.